My name is Timothy Phillips, and I work with an organization called SIL. We're a nonprofit organization that helps with Indigenous languages around the world. I have been working in Malaysia for over 20 years now, and with SIL for 28 years. A couple of years ago, when I went to the doctor for my regular session, a regular wellness checkup, it was discovered that my PSA was high. This was not a surprise because prostate cancer runs in my family. My grandfather died from prostate cancer. My father was successfully treated, and my brother currently has prostate cancer. Unfortunately, it was a little bit far along for some of the early treatments, and so my prostate was removed. After the cancer was determined to have recurred, I looked at my options, and I spoke with some doctors in the Bay Area, and it was really them who talked about the tomotherapy as being the best option. I actually knew about the CyberKnife and was hoping for that treatment because it's much quicker. But it was determined by the doctor at UCSF, and of course he's the expert. He's seen hundreds of patients and so forth, and so the tomotherapy was decided as the best treatment for my condition. Treatment began, I believe, around September 29th was my first session. I had 5 sessions every week. So I had the weekends off and one holiday off. There were 35 sessions total. During the course of the treatment, my sessions were 4 minutes long, and I never felt anything from the treatment itself. The doctor said I might feel some fatigue, and the fatigue might build over the 35 sessions. I never felt any fatigue from the sessions. I had been instructed ahead of time that it would be good to get some exercise to combat the fatigue, and that's something I'm very willing to do. I love riding my bike. I love going for runs and walks. And so I think that really helped combat any fatigue that I might have felt from the sessions. But really, I felt nothing during the sessions. From what I can tell, and I'm not a doctor, but what I can tell about the tomotherapy is that it's completely painless. The machine is very accurate. I talked to Mark a little bit about the nature of the machine, and they have something like sub-millimeter accuracy, which is something you want because there's a lot of, for prostate cancer, there's a lot of important body functions in that area, and you really want to only target the cancer cells and not have any collateral damage. I have experienced basically no collateral damage that I can detect from any of the tomotherapy that I've had. So that's a huge blessing. That was a fantastic day. That I had my last treatment. It's actually on November 17th was my last treatment because there was one holiday in there, and I brought my wife with me to the hospital. They allowed her to come on that day to greet the nurses and to be there for a recording of the ringing of the bell, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. Yeah, it was such a blessing. I just wish, everybody from Accuray could have at least one experience where they, maybe follow a patient through their treatment and can be there on the day that they ring the bell. And by the way, I've had my first PSA check since the treatment ended just a couple of weeks ago, and my PSA was 0.00. So obviously it's something you have to keep monitoring for many years, but that was really good news. So yes, the story of the shirt. So I was taking the train every day to San Francisco, and I would take my bicycle along with me to get to and from the train station. And since there were a number of treatments, 35 sessions. Occasionally, I would ride back from the city all the way back to Sunnyvale. And on 2 of those occasions, Mark Trail joined me. He would leave from home at the time I left from the city. He would meet me halfway. And on the second to last day of my treatment was one of the days that he came, and he brought his wife, and he presented me with a Team Accuray bike jersey, a complete outfit actually. And he and his wife and I all took our pictures at the Pulgas Water Temple where we met. The tomotherapy experience at UCFS was very professional. The staff there was very kind. The doctor was very knowledgeable. He likened the tomotherapy machine to a race car, and he was the race car driver. But he obviously had a lot of esteem for the equipment. And if I may, I want to share with you on the last day, I wore this jersey that Mark presented me with. And all the staff, and I don't mean just the nurses that would regularly attend to me, but all the staff working in that section of the hospital, they poured out of their offices, they poured out of their cubicles because they all wanted to see this Accuray jersey and hear the story about how I got to it. And they were asking me to model it, and they were looking at all the logos and such, and they are really impressed with the Accuray equipment. I was telling Mark that I wish he could have been there, because I had been telling them that one of my friends works on this machine in developing of new machines and such. And Mark would have felt like a superhero that day. And in fact, I wish he could have brought his whole team in there because of the appreciation the staff has there for Accuray and their equipment.